What's going on, everybody? This is Seahawks Today. I am Will Ortner, and I'm incredibly frustrated on a Monday, even though it is technically a victory Monday. The Seattle Seahawks found a way to get the job done, come away with a victory against the Indianapolis Colts, but the offense has some major issues that we need to discuss in today's episode. Will they be able to get fixed? And more importantly, what are these issues that they have right now? Because if you don't identify what the issues are, you will not be able to fix these issues. And you damn well know that you got to fix the issues before you take on the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday. Sound off right now in the comments. Let me know what you think the issues are offensively for the Seahawks. I'm going to go through it and discuss every single aspect of this offense, from the play calling to the rushing attack to the passing attack, and what issues I see are there. Okay, our first issue, the play calling. Right now, Klint Kubiak, our guy is not doing what he needs to do when it comes to this offense. It feels like basically ever since that Vikings game against the Brian Flores defense, he got figured out. Klint Kubiak has to make adjustments. That's what the NFL is. They get trends, they see what you like to do, and then defensive coordinators take those away from you. Klint Kubiak hasn't made an adjustment, or the adjustments that he's made, they haven't been good. Look at what the Seahawks play calling chart was in this game. You brought in Klint Kubiak to run the football. You threw the ball 36 times. You only ran it 22. Now, I understand that the Colts did a good job of really slowing down and stopping this offense and stopping that rushing attack, but we need to be balanced. I understand that Kenneth Walker wasn't getting the job done. Less than 2 yards a carry. Give the ball to Zach Charbonnet. He was almost at 4 yards a clip. He ran more physical today, and that seemed to be what's working. So feed him. Stop setting up Sam Darnold for 2 straight incomplete passes, and then basically you're begging this offense to hope that JSN or Rashid Shaheed can come up huge for you on a 3rd and 10. That's just bad play calling. This offense works best when you are ahead of the sticks. Now, there is some argument to be made of, hey, that running game, they weren't doing what they needed to do, and that's why Kubiak moved away from it. But at the same time, continue to force feed to a small degree, at least on first down. I'm not saying do the Pete Carroll run, pass. You don't have to do that. But damn, try and get this offense in a position where you can move the football into a position where at least it's 3rd and manageable, 3rd and medium. You got away from what you do best. This offense is supposed to be balanced. Run, in fact, almost run more than you pass the football. They got away from that, and I hated it. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Daily Seahawks content coming out, and we are less than 200 away from 77K. Help us out. Next, let's look at the rushing attack, because there's a guy whose picture's on the screen right there who I just went off on the last week about how he needs to show that he has improved over the season. Took a gigantic step back. The rushing attack was atrocious in this game for the Seattle Seahawks. Just look at it. I understand that Charbonnet's numbers come up a little bit better, and he's right at that 4 yards per carry clip. Kenneth Walker sucked in this game. He didn't even get to 20 yards. What are we doing? The rushing attack in total barely got to 50. This rushing group was not running the football well. It needs to be better. I felt like the running backs didn't find open holes, and they didn't make people miss. Now, credit to Zach Charbonnet. He did lower his shoulder a few times, but it felt like Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, as soon as one person touched them, they went down. That can't happen. That can't happen. You want to beat the Rams? You want to beat the 49ers? That can't happen. You have to run through arm tackles. The offensive line struggled too. The offensive line could have done a lot better. It felt like they missed key blocks at times. Anthony Bradford, hey, guess what? I'm mentioning him again. He got ran through on a pole play. I noticed that Jalen Sundell was back in that starting center spot. He did fine, but there was still some leakage coming through on that offensive line in the run game and in the pass game. It wasn't clean, and it needs to be. The offensive line got blown up, and on the Rashid Shaheed jet sweep, they completely missed a block. It's got to be better. And everyone has to look at themselves in the mirror right now and figure out what's to fix. Now, I am going to ask you, though, who do you think's more to blame for the issues going on right now with the rushing attack? Type RB for running backs down below. Type OL for the offensive line. Let me know what you think. I personally think after this last game, and maybe I'm being a bit overreactionary because they did run the ball fairly well against Minnesota and they ran the ball fairly well against the Falcons. I think it's the running backs. I think they're missing the holes. Don't get me wrong, the offensive line is at like 45% of the blame if they're at 55, the running backs, but it just feels like they are missing out on opportunities to run the football and keep this offense clean the way it needs to be. Next, we're going to get into some more offensive issues and what's going on in the passing attack as well as the NFC playoff picture. But before we do that, I need to let you know about the sponsor of today's video, and that is our good friends over at PrizePicks. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. It is the holiday season, the best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It is all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right. PrizePicks. New feature alert. PrizePicks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. On PrizePicks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose Flex Play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. If you want the biggest payouts, go for the Power Play. No matter your play, PrizePicks is a great way to put your takes to the test. Last weekend, this was my Power Play. JSN more, Jared Goff more as well. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Okay. Now, the last thing that I have to talk about is the passing game. And I think that a lot of people assume that I'm going to come in here and just absolutely slam Sam Darnold because at times I've done that before. I'm not going to do that. I actually think that he played fairly decently in this football game. Like, if you look at his stat line, it's not atrocious. I mean, yes, I'd like the completion percentage numbers to be a little bit higher. I felt like he missed Rashid Shaheed in the end zone. I feel like he missed Cooper Kupp on a play that could have led to, at minimum, a first down, possibly a touchdown. But I don't necessarily blame him for all of the issues offensively. When you needed him to come up big, he found open receivers. He added seconds to the plays when there were different defensive players getting into the backfield. He used his legs when he needed to, and most importantly, he held onto the football. No interceptions. That's been a problem turning the football over for Sam Darnold. I thought he did a great job. He found Jackson Smith-Njigba and Rashid Shaheed, who, by the way, unlocked. Rashid Shaheed is here to stay, and he's not just a deep play threat. He's a great wide receiver. And you're seeing those numbers just jump up right now. Over 16 yards per catch for JSN. Rashid Shaheed basically at 15. They're both doing fantastic work for the Seahawks right now. But what I think is frustrating with this offense and, frankly, with this passing attack, when did it take off? In the second half. It took too long for this offense to get going. It took too long for Sam Darnold to get going. You sleptwalk your way through that first quarter, and then, when it's needed, when I need to come up huge, now I'm dotting everybody up. Thank goodness Jason Myers bailed us out and made every single kick that he was out there on the field for. Right now, this passing attack needs to get fixed, or Thursday we're in for a whole lot of suck. It's going to look bad if the passing attack can't get fixed. You saw what it did to the Seahawks and what Shula and the Rams were able to do to shut down our offense last time. Now, we were able to get it figured out at the end, but you can't wait around. What if the defense isn't able to stand on their head the way that they were the first game? This offense needs to start doing their part. You have a defense that's a Super Bowl championship-worthy defense. The offense, definitely a playoff-worthy offense, but it's been very disappointing the last 3 weeks. And it needs to get fixed. And everybody has to go into the mirror and look at themselves and say, what can I do to fix our issues? What can I do to be a better player? Will the Seahawks fix their offense by Thursday night football? You have to. It's the biggest game of the year. I don't care what anybody says. This isn't like, it's the biggest game of the year because it's the next game. No. This is the biggest game of the year. Will this offense be fixed? Type Y for yes, type N for no down below in the comments. Here is the playoff picture in the NFC. I don't care about Dallas. I don't care about Minnesota. They've already been eliminated. Seahawks, you're 11-3, tied with the Rams. as the best teams in the NFC. Right now, the Rams are ahead of you because of that victory. If you win on Thursday, the Seahawks will be 12-3. They will clinch a playoff berth, and they will also be the number one team, not in the NFC West, in the entire NFC. Everything is laid out in front of you. Just win. Just win, baby. If the Seahawks beat the Rams, none of this is really going to matter at the end of the day. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We got daily content coming out for you that you do not want to miss. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you next time.